When a single mother sends her 2 children to meet and stay with their estranged grandparents for the weekend, they'll soon discover that the seemingly innocent senior citizens are more than meets the eye in The Visit. Hi, I'm Cinematico Magnifico of AmoralCrackpot.com, and welcome to the Nightly Chill. A wiser man than me once said that in business, you can make a lot of small mistakes, but very few big ones. A career with too many mistakes, both professional and personal, can turn a steep uphill climb into a desperate clawing up the walls of a deep grave that you've gone and dug for yourself. There are a number of actors and directors and possibly countless crew members from behind the scenes that intentionally or not committed career suicide. Some come back from this after years of hard work, such as Robert Downey Jr. or Ben Affleck. Others, however, burn out entirely, only to make frequent yipping in the hope of one last payday should a real comeback seem too far off. Of course, there's also those who simply toil away after a string of failures leaves a lingering stench on everything they touch. At this point, all it takes is just the right project, just the right bit of positive press to get them out of that pit and back into the spotlight. The Visit from writer-director and filmmaking punchline M. Night Shyamalan is not that sort of project. In fact, it would arguably be fair to say that The Visit could have been such a project had Shyamalan not been so eager to give audiences the cinematic equivalent of the finger. Now, the concept alone proves promising, as so many of Shyamalan's earlier projects did, taking a cue from writers like Stephen King with the way he places a seemingly unsuspecting group of characters into quaint and overtly benign situations, only to later unleash hell in a straight-faced, matter-of-fact manner. There's plenty to mine from the story of children being sent to someplace they've never been, only to discover that their grandparents are just left of normal. But like so many of Shyamalan's movies, there's an unnecessary twist to everything. In this case, that twist is how the movie fails at every turn. The plot and overall story are simple to the point of being insulting, with there being little to nothing else going on aside from the aforementioned siblings, played here by Olivia DeJonge and Ed Oxenbould, going to visit their grandparents and discovering that people can be sick and twisted well into old age. And while there is a reason for these senior citizens acting as crazy as they do, it's just as bland a moment and revealed in such a lazy matter-of-fact manner that lacks any sort of emotional punch that it's not at all earned, weak as it is. But this is all just as bland as the preceding 60 minutes, where we're forced to watch 2 insufferable brats, one a pretentious 15-year-old would-be filmmaker, and the other a squeaky clean would-be hip-hop artist with all the flow of a broken toilet, do absolutely nothing of note. They arrive at their grandparents' home, talk and hug and go about town, and slowly learning the ins and outs of these 2 elderly strangers with some strange habits, such as rigidly scheduled catatonia and sleepwalking. And then all of this just sort of repeats ad nauseum until the big reveal comes along via what has to be Shyamalan's contractually mandated twist. And even then, the movie crawls along at the sort of pace that an 80-year-old woman could outrun, doing so until the movie decides it's just done trying. Perhaps some of this, though certainly not all of it, could be forgiven had the characters, specifically those portrayed by DeJonge and Oxenbould, had been more than a singular aggravating trait that will leave audiences demanding that something awful happened to these 2 children. Maybe it's a lack of experience on the part of these young actors, but their performances are so pitch-perfectly unlikable that it's hard to accept that they're not the result of Shyamalan's direction. Matters certainly aren't helped any with the equally unnecessary use of the found footage motif. It doesn't do anything to hide the low budget, it doesn't serve the story. If anything, it does mask the movie's poor editing, as it allows scenes to linger or jump about in a way that would normally be a red flag for anyone who's ever seen a competently made movie. This all said, if The Visit was Shyamalan's last chance to dig himself out of the grave he's made for himself over the past decade, he's used it as a chance to keep going until he struck oil. The bad news here is that The Visit fully earns and deserves its no chill. The good news, however, is that should you heed my advice, you won't be missing yet another Hollywood comeback story. That's gonna do it for us tonight on the Nightly Chill. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and also be sure to leave me any questions, comments, suggestions for future reviews, and maybe even discuss today's movie at greater length. And as always, this video is brought to you in part by our viewers. If you'd like to learn how to support this and other projects, please visit amoralcrackpot.com or check the description below. But until next time, y'all need to make like a tree and get out of here.